Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, fellas, what's up? What's poppin'? Monday Night Football. Pretty big game tonight, pretty important game in terms of playoff seeding as we're getting now into Week 11, Week 12 coming up to close out this week. Playoff seeding for these teams in real life, so yeah, you can be damn sure that these are the times of the weeks in the big games, especially Monday Night Football. Well, one, you're going to see stars come out under the lights, but also you're going to be seeing more condensed usage. You're not going to have the times now where it's just going to be like, this is the time of the year where rookies start to take over. That was J.K. Dobbins last week. You're seeing what happened with DeAndre Swift and some other backfield, right? That's starting to happen. That's happening at all positions, though. Running back, obviously not quarterback, tight end, that's going to start to get condensed. So your 3 wide receiver sets are going to remain your 3 wide receiver sets. You're not going to be messing around with another guy getting 25% of the snaps or whatever it's going to be. As these games become much more important, you keep the guys out there that you trust even more heavily. So what's up, everybody? We're going to answer a lot of people's questions tonight. Q&A based, a lot of stuff to get into. Tampa Bay and the Rams. I have my projections, rankings, ownership projections all up on Patreon. You can check them out down below if you want to follow along with that. Have them up at the same time. They are up on my other screen, as long as all the questions as well. What's up, everybody? Sal finishing somebody says water wrap. I don't know what that means. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. I see some people hopping in. Sal, thanks in advance. Always straight, always with the advice, says Jeffrey. Yeah, what's up, Jeffrey? An OG for sure. The man with the plan. What's up? Sal Ruski, Anthony says. What's up, everybody? Yes, we're going to get into it. Hit the like and subscribe. We crossed 33,000 subscribers. A lot of news came out. Did a lot of recording today, not just the Monday Night Football video and this stream. Some stuff for the Thanksgiving slate videos, 2 dropping tomorrow for betting and DFS, DraftKings, Super Draft, that type of coverage. And then we'll have that one due just for Thanksgiving specifically on Wednesday with the player prop show for Thanksgiving. So 4 Thanksgiving shows over the next couple of days. Hopefully you all enjoy those. So like and subscribe. Appreciate that in advance. And this video is sponsored by Super Draft. Top play on Super Draft tonight if you want to check it out. Super Draft is a multiplier format. My name's Sal. Get you a free money bonus up to $1,000. So you can check that out. The top play that I have, just pure projection wise, right? You're going to have ownership towards it. But Chris Godwin and Josh Reynolds look like strong plays tonight over on Super Draft in both captain formats. Obviously, kickers are always more so in play on Super Draft than anywhere else. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with this kicker situation that we're seeing tonight right now with Tampa Bay. It could be one of a couple of guys, I guess is what they're saying right now. Matt Gay is who is off the exempt list, and they're expecting him to play, but I guess maybe somebody else saw the news. I didn't really look too deep into it. I was just planning on adjusting once an actives come out in an hour anyways. But yeah, check out Super Draft, multiplier format. It is going to be where professionals are just not there. People are thriving in the Discord. I don't know his real name, but the guy in the Discord that has won or come in second place said he plays 10 to 20 lineups a night. We talked about him this morning on the show for the Monday Night Football show. He's just absolutely crushing it in terms of taking down $1K, $2K, $5K, $4,500 here and there over the last couple of weeks. I'm sure his bankroll is liking that because Super Draft is a place where there's not professionals. If you're playing any decent amount of lineups with any decent amount of projections or just decent projections in general, you're going to do well over there. So check it out. Everybody's in here right now. What's up, everybody? Simon Man, let's get it. What's going on, Evan? How you doing? Young Leonard Fournette over Ronald Jones. Yeah, so, I mean, if you're looking at this yes and no's and that type of stuff, I have Ronald Jones projected for more points, but he's also double the price point of Leonard Fournette. So, yeah, I have more Leonard Fournette so far tonight. I'm going to have to pull up right now my, let me see where I have this. I believe I have to pull it back up, my Fantasy Cruncher stuff so I can see my lineups. I think I X'd out of it accidentally, so let me pull that up right now. Matt Gay revenge game, somebody says. Yeah, I think he's playing. We'll see. We'll wait for the inactives. Antonio Brown ownership, Sal. Yeah, he's going to pick up ownership tonight. I have him around 20% projected ownership. That's not the exact number, but around that ballpark is what I have him at. I don't have ownership towards him, though. I'm not going to have him. I think I have anything below 5%. I just put as a no for here in my 150s. I think I got 3% Antonio Brown. I think he has upside. It's just that he has to have a lot of things break right for his upside to actually show through. And he's just the third option in the passing game, and he's priced as if he's the number 1 and number 2 option. So let me pull this up right now for what my crunches showed me on after making all my rules. Antonio Brown, I got 1% of Antonio Brown and no captain percent Antonio Brown. So I currently have my, this actually only crunched 96 lineups. I think it timed out. So let me actually re-crunch this so I can get my 150. How's it going, brother? How's it going, Marley? How you doing? What is the super punt play today? Yeah, so I mean, as always, on these showdowns, you have to get a little bit wonky. I think there's some interesting ways looking ahead at some of the... We don't have the showdown slates for Thanksgiving yet, but some of the players on there. There's going to be a lot of ways to get different on the showdown slates for Thanksgiving. There's not like wonky players on this slate, though. Like the wonkiest you can probably get is like backup tight ends Everett, backup tight ends Cameron Brate, right? And they're running like maybe you get 12 routes, but that's about it. Like there's not that many wonky plays. Like Fournette is a cheaper play, but he's definitely not a wonky play. Outside of that, defense and the kickers are going to be more so needed on this slate than usual. You're not really seeing much. Like my worst value plays are these Rams running backs and Brown and Henderson. The way at their price with their usage, you're getting a lot of red zone carries for Henderson, so that's good to see. So he would be the one I would choose for $400 difference at what is likely going to be higher ownership than Brown too. But not many wonky plays. These offenses are condensed. Like Scotty Miller, he's not playable anymore to me. His 4 routes that he's going to run tonight are not playable for me. So these offenses are condensed. You know their 3 wide receiver sets. You know their tight end usage. And then it comes down to just kind of the messy backfields that they both have. And that's where Cam Akers would probably be maybe that type of wonky cheap play that you're looking for. Bobby Trees is getting a rushing touchdown today. Also, what is your favorite Thanksgiving side dish? Yeah, I don't know if I have a flat-out favorite now that I think about it. I'm not really sure. I don't know if I have a flat-out favorite on that one. Potato souffle is pretty good. Stuffing's just like, okay, it doesn't really do much for me. But yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have a flat-out favorite. But Bobby Trees is getting a rushing touchdown. Yeah, what does he have? 2 on the year, 6 total touchdowns so far this year. That's already like the combination of what he's had the last couple of years, I think, combined are pretty close to it. So today I'm only using wide receivers in the captain spot. So I'm using both of these starting wide receivers for Tampa Bay, Mike Evans and Godwin, and I'm using the 3 wide receivers for the Rams. And obviously I have more ownership towards a couple of those guys. 2 of those guys are making up 80% of my ownership right now. I think I have just 5, and I'm basically having all my ownership in like 3 captains. I have 6 of my lineups going to my bottom 2 owned captains, so it's mainly coming from the top end. Sal, can you talk about the O-line issues for both teams? Yeah, more so on the offensive line. I mean, all year long it's been pretty sturdy, I would say. Dealing with injuries both, but more so you have Andrew Whitworth now done for the year, who just got signed to a big contract. One of the best tackles and definitely the best tackle on this team for the Rams. So it's going to be a concern, especially under pressure. And the O-line concerns come in more so because both teams generate pressure. And you have 2 stationary quarterbacks for the most part, right? And both of these quarterbacks have not been good under pressure this year, especially Jared Goff if you're thinking just long-term, but also Brady this year has thrown his interceptions under pressure. His pick 6 is under pressure, has struggled under pressure. So although I like the passing games and the wide receivers just due to their natural upside and variance, and I don't think each quarterback's going to throw for 100 yards. I do think that there could be a potential for this game to get a little bit messy and the defenses to cause some havoc because the quarterbacks they're facing aren't mobile and are not that great overall when it comes to facing pressure this year relative to the other quarterbacks in the league. How many different lineups, how many different captains in a 20 max? I'd be going with 1 to 3 on this slate pretty easily for me. I'm just running wide receivers in the captain tonight. Reynolds for captain all day. Somebody says, yeah, I have some Reynolds in the captain spot. Not a ton, but I have some. He's been playing great, right? As of late, just the usage that Reynolds is getting right now. You're basically getting him with 8+ targets in 3 straight games, coming off of that 10-target, 100+ air yard game. What's your long shot captain? I don't have any long shot captains. I don't. Look, you can play all season long, playing all 17 Monday Night Football slates, 34 if you want to play the 51 if you want to play the Sunday and Thursday, all these slates, and you're not going to win a single slate when you just try and punt like one of the $1,000 captains. You're just not, right? Like it almost happened with Traquan Smith like 3 years ago when he was a rookie and scored like 2 touchdowns and had like 60 yards. I don't even think he was still the captain on that slate. I think it was like Kamara or something for the Saints. You're just not going to win with punting all the way down to those guys. So like long shot captains, the longest shots that I would go is probably Josh Reynolds on this slate personally. I mean, I could see Leonard Fournette getting in there. I could see this being a Fournette game where Ronald Jones fumbles or gets hurt or doesn't play well, and Fournette seeing 15 touches and 5 receptions. And if he finds the end zone, $4,400, he's in there, but I'm not playing him in the captain spot. Mike Evans gets Ramsey. I'd stay away. Yeah, he does get Ramsey. He'll see a good amount of Ramsey. It's not going to be 100% Ramsey. It'll be 70% Ramsey, somewhere around there. So it's not a full-on shadow. No cornerbacks shadow 100% of the time. A shadow matchup is like this guy's on him 60 to 80% of the time, right? Ramsey's been a lot better the last month. He struggled the first couple of weeks of the season here or there. But yeah, I think that Mike Evans is definitely in a tougher spot, but that's what you're seeing in the ownership. Like how tough of a spot does it become if Mike Evans is seeing all the targets recently, leads the league in red zone targets right now at 14, and now he's coming into a spot where he's not going to be that highly owned on a showdown slate. His price point says he shouldn't be that highly owned. The matchup says he shouldn't be, and he's not. But what then happens is I was trying to read somebody's comment. What then happens when he's only Mike Evans I projected for 30% ownership tonight, which I guess is relatively high, maybe comes in 25 to 30% owned, but still that's going to be like the 7th or 8th highest owned on the slate. He's going to have other guys coming in higher than. The purple background with the white lettering is a little blurry. My phone isn't the greatest, but I believe someone else had made a comment about it yesterday. No, somebody else made a comment about the actual background in terms of just like the stuff moving around, not the lettering. The purple background with the white lettering overall It's the best you're going to get. Like, if that's blurry on your phone, if it's black on white, it's going to be just as blurry. Like, this is what pops the most, and also just looks visually appealing. Do you think Brady captain would be viable? I'm not going to go there. I think it's viable. He's only $11,000. You're going to need a 3 to 4 touchdown game, or he runs in, like a quarterback sneak, his vintage quarterback sneaks. You're going to need one of those where he spreads the ball out, because if he's throwing 100 yards and a touchdown or 2 to Godwin, he's going to be the captain. Same thing to AB, same thing to Evans. 2 touchdowns to Gronk, he might be a captain. So when you don't have a mobile quarterback, they need to rely on their production with their wide receivers. And when you have condensed target shares, which this one really isn't that condensed, like it's 3 guys, 4 sometimes when it's Gronk. So, yeah, I'm not going to go Brady in the captain spot because of that reason. If Brady was a mobile quarterback, if this was an $11,000 Deshaun Watson somehow, yeah, I'd have a ton of captain options there. First time doing showdown on DK. Will QB be higher owned than wide receiver in the captain spot? It depends on the slate, but a lot of the times people will own quarterbacks in the captain spot, yeah. Like Brady will probably be the highest owned captain tonight, and like 2 years ago, it used to not be the case. 2 years ago, like quarterbacks in the captain spot were under-owned. I think this is the first year that they're actually becoming properly owned in the captain spot. The mobile quarterbacks are definitely becoming properly owned, but like if you're going to get Brady being the highest owned captain tonight and say he's in 25% of the lineups, he's appropriately priced. Like a 300-yard, 3-touchdown game is what's going to get there. His player props and his projections that I have don't say that's going to happen. Nowhere near that in my projections, and median at least. But yeah, I just easily fade the 25% ownership coming in on Brady, probably the 35% ownership coming in on these quarterbacks tonight when they're not mobile and they're picking up that much ownership. Is Akers in play? Yeah, Akers is definitely in play. The usage that Akers is getting, he's getting just as much usage these last 2 weeks as the other running backs in that backfield, and Cam Akers is currently coming in as half the price of these guys, right? So if you're getting 10 opportunities in each of the last 2 games on average, look, he's not scoring a ton of fantasy points, but how do I not have interest in that when the guys above him are luck boxing their way on 8 touches like Malcolm Brown to 2 touchdowns last week, Henderson not really doing much at all. Hey Sal, that one guy, Zeke, just bought me a Patreon membership with the new month's kicks. Nice. Yeah, I mean, Zeke all week, we loved him. I really don't know what the industry was doing in terms of Zeke. We ended up having 20% of him. I wish I got more now in hindsight, but we had like 80% Dalvin Cook, so it was tough to get anybody else at a high clip. But yeah, I mean, Zeke was like 5% owned in a lot of contests. In higher stakes, he was only 10% owned. I had him in all my higher stakes lineups, my 3 maxes. I just went heavy Zeke. It didn't make any sense. He's facing one of the worst run defenses with his offensive line making stern improvements. And you saw that, right? Zach Martin moves to a tackle position so you can put Connor McGovern, not that great of a tackle, to the guard where you can basically hide a player when they're at guard. It doesn't become as impactful when they're not on the edge. And Zeke just ran behind that all day. 100-plus yards. Obviously, catching that screen pass touchdown early on helps out a ton. But being that low owned against that bad of a defense when you're seeing 20-plus touches a week for the previous couple of weeks is kind of mind-boggling to me at that price point. And we're going to get him again cheap and getting the same usage in a tougher spot, but probably not picking up all that much ownership as he should on the Thanksgiving slate. Who's your choice for the Rams running back? If I had to pick one, it would be Cam Akers. They all project out very similar for me. Like right now, if I look at my projections on Patreon, they literally all look the same to me in terms of fantasy points. Like they're all separated by like a point. Henderson's separated by like 2 points. From Cam Akers, my lowest projected to the 3 to Henderson. It's literally right now like a 2.5 point difference, but the price point's nowhere near that. So Cam Akers would be my favorite. What's up, Sal? You're the best. No, you're the best. James from San Fran, what's up? Woods or Reynolds higher ownership projection tonight? I think that you're going to end up seeing Woods pick up more ownership tonight. Let me filter this by ownership. I currently have Woods projected for top 5 ownership tonight with 36%. I have Reynolds at 28% projected ownership. If you're paying attention to the background, you should go somewhere else, somebody says. No, I see the issue. If somebody's trying to read it, it could be messing with them. Any player props that you like tonight? Yeah, I like Godwin's props. I took Godwin's props earlier in both receptions and yardage. I mean, I think this could be a massive Godwin game. He's going to have a matchup against Troy Hill. When he moves into the slot, it's going to be just feast. That's what it's going to be tonight for Godwin. Unless there's an injury or unless there's something that Brady gets injured or Brady's just getting hit with so much pressure, which even then, your slot wide receiver in Godwin will be the beneficiary of that. I think this is a massive Godwin game. Do you have more Goff or Kupp tonight? So I have no Goff in the captain spot, which might make it come a little bit closer here. I have more Goff tonight overall, but I have Kupp in the captain spot. And I don't have Goff. No AB for you. I have one total lineup out of my 150. No, I got more now. So I have 4 lineups out of my 150 with Abri, which means he's 3%, which for me basically means I'll scroll down a little bit. If I have 5% or less on a guy, I just put no. It basically means that in 150 lineups, I'm not even getting like 6 lineups with the guy. It means I don't have that much interest. Last time I played Cam, he didn't see the field. Hard trusting McVay running backs. Yeah, but the last time that you played him on a showdown slate, he didn't play the game before that. You now have a track record of him playing 25-plus snaps in each of the past 2 games and 10-plus touches. Tried to use your promo code this weekend and there was nowhere to enter it on SuperDraft, says Shane. That's interesting. Were you on the desktop version? I think it's like when you're first making your account, there's like a request to use the promo code. But Shane, if you want to reach out to, I'll throw their email in the chat. You can reach out to them so that you can actually get the deposit bonus. One, I get the credit, but you also get the deposit bonus more importantly. This email right here, Shane, it's support@superdraft.io. You can just say what happened and they'll hook you up so you get your bonus. But there you go. I did the unthinkable. I played Zeke and Elliott and Thielen in the same lineup. Zeke and Elliott is the same person. Hill at QB, Henry in the flex, and still only won $100. Interesting. I'm not too sure what you're saying there. AB, Brait, or Gronk in suck-up. AB and Brait for me. Do you think Goff is throwing for 300 yards? I don't have him projected for that. No. Thoughts on Brait, and could you go different playing both Brait and Gronk? You can play both Brait and Gronk. Yeah, Brait's cheap enough to do that. Brait did run, second most snaps. He got involved because it was a garbage time game against Carolina, to be honest with you. He ran 12 routes, which is his second most on the year, which is not great. So I would expect Brait to run 8 routes, see 1 to 2 targets, and if he's not finding the end zone, finish with 3 to 4 fantasy points. So I'm not that enamored with Brait tonight. That being said, though, like out of all these tight ends, I'm not getting a lot of either of them. So I have 7% Brait tonight. The only guy that I'm getting over 10% at tight end is Gerald Everett. And it's nothing to do with him. It's just due to the lack of value on the slate. Like if you take out the kickers and defenses tonight, I don't know where you're finding value. Cam Akers, right? If you're talking about value under 4K. If you're talking about a little bit above that, well then yeah, that's where I'm getting a lot of ownership towards Leonard Fournette because I want to play some actual expensive players in the captain spot, guys who have real upside. And if I'm going to be doing that, I need to get Leonard Fournette. I need to get some Cam Akers. I need to piece it together with kickers and defenses on the slate. Where's your Everett projection? I currently have Gerald Everett projected for 4.9 fantasy points. You're an absolute beast, says Kevin. No, you are. What's up, Sal? Where's the energy, bro? What do you mean, where's the energy? It's right here. Big energy. That's a logo up in the top left corner. Smack you with it. In your opinion, who would be your captain on a single injury? Probably Chris Godwin. I'm going to be surprised by how low the ownership is on Chris Godwin tonight, and it's just going to be a complete mistake. People are going to want to be playing 25% Tom Brady tonight. Honestly, any of these receivers should be higher owned than Tom Brady in your lineups, in my opinion, in the captain spot. Like any single one of them. I don't even like AB tonight. I'd rather have him than Tom Brady in the captain spot. When Chris Godwin comes in at potentially single-digit ownership tonight in the captain spot, but even if it's like 10 or 11, it's just a mistake. If it doesn't work out tonight, that's hang your hat. You made the right decision. Like this is one projection spot looks insane for my projections right now on him, and 2, the matchup that he has in the slot. And the downside of tonight's game is that Brady gets pressured and is rattled, and that's exactly what Chris Godwin will thrive even more for. How much Brady do you have? I believe I have more Goff, but I have 70% Brady. Hey, Sal, thoughts on Fournette and Jones in the same lineup? I'm probably not going to do it. I have a rule against it right now. Fournette's expensive enough, 4,400, where I don't want both of them. They usually cut into each other's workload. Now it could work out, but like for Jones to get there at $8,800, what's he need? 18 to 20 fantasy points. If he's doing that, it's going to make it all that much more difficult for Fournette to rack up his 10 to 12 fantasy points to get you there. It's possible. Like it's definitely not anywhere near out of the ordinary. Like Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones have done it on Showdown Slate so far this year, but I'm probably not going to be getting that. Superdraft Antonio Brown at a 1.8 multiplier or Reynolds. I'll go Reynolds there. Rojo captain, not for me. Do you like a kicker or a Rams running back better? I have the kickers projected out for more. Obviously, the Rams running backs, more so Cam Akers, has a higher ceiling if he scores a touchdown, but I have more kickers tonight. I think I'm going to go heavy Godwin in the captain. Would you agree? What are your thoughts? Yeah, so hopefully you just caught those thoughts on Godwin. Who's the better play, Woods or Reynolds? I believe I have more Woods right now. Reynolds is expensive. I have more Woods. Reynolds is actually expensive. He's been good, but he's expensive. How in the hell did the winner last night have 0 quarterbacks? Do you see a game script like that? I don't play or even really ever look at the Sunday night slates. I've done it like twice this year. I've looked at them, and only once I've played Sunday Night Football. So I don't even know. Like I can't even remember. I know who played, right? But it's odd. Superdraft, you definitely needed both of them. I think Derek Carr was in the winning Superdraft lineup, even though Kelsey would have won it for you if you put him in there. I guess just the combination after that wasn't really there, with Aguilar being in it. But yeah, it's surprising that Mahomes only threw 2 touchdowns, so that's the reason there. And a lot of guys went off, whether it was Scotty Miller, whether it was Aguilar. Waller had a nice game, right? You obviously had Kelsey and Hill going off. Josh Reynolds, a captain in like 2% of my lineups, not a lot. Do you have a side of a spread tonight, Sal? No, I don't. Actually, No, I had a slide last night. I don't have anything tonight. Reynolds or Gronk in the flex spot? Reynolds or Gronk in the flex spot tonight? I'm going to be going with Reynolds over Gronk tonight. Who's projected for more, AB or Reynolds for you? So, I mean, AB is just really expensive. I have right now Reynolds still projected for more, even at $1,000 more expensive for AB. I have more Reynolds. How you doing, Sal? I'm doing well. How are you? What's up, Sal? Just joining. What's it looking like tonight? Yeah, I mean, it's looking like a slate where I just want to own wide receivers. I mean, and the quarterbacks are fine, but not in the captain spot, especially if they're going to pick up ownership. So wide receivers for me. You have some backfields that have a lot of question marks and are appropriately priced. I think Fournette is underpriced. I think Cam Akers is underpriced, but not to the slate point where I think they're going to score 20 fantasy points. So, which I think some wide receivers on the slate project for close to that, project at that, have ceilings way above that. So, yeah, I just want to play wide receivers in the captain spot. I can boil it down to that. Wide receivers in the captain spot and go from there. Touchdown and yardage guesses for Brady tonight. Like 278 yards and 2 touchdowns. Do your projections factor in that Brady is obsessed with Antonio Brown? If I don't know if you're talking about off the court, no, it doesn't factor in whatever those guys are doing off the court, but off the field. But yeah, it'll factor in any connections that he's had with Antonio Brown. The slim games, the 3 games in his career with him. Any injuries to worry about? Yeah, the kicker for the Rams. I think it's going to be Mr. Matt Gay, but we'll end up seeing once inactives come out. Other than that, no, not really. I think everybody else should be good to go. It doesn't seem like there's any injuries that are worth monitoring all that much tonight. Sal, do you look at DraftKings Sportsbook's fantasy lines at all? Fantasy lines? What does that mean for fantasy lines? You talking about player props, like over under receiving yards? Yeah, I look at a combination of sportsbooks. Do you have more lineups with 2 quarterbacks or 1? I honestly couldn't tell you. I got 150 lineups on here. If I sort by my highest projected, I'm sure I'll get a lot with 2 quarterbacks. That one has 2 quarterbacks. That one has 2 quarterbacks. That one has 2 quarterbacks. 2 quarterbacks. Yeah, I mean, I have 70+% of both quarterbacks, so a lot of them are going to have 2 quarterbacks in them. Likely more. Super draft strategy tonight. Yeah, I mean, wide receivers. It's wide receivers on every single slate tonight that look like the best plays. Super draft and DraftKings specifically, because that's all that I'm playing tonight. But it's the wide receivers. Like the top 4 or 5 plays are wide receivers for me. Quarterbacks are fine. Kickers not as important tonight on Super Draft, but still okay, still in play. Matt Gay doesn't have a Super Draft multiplier when I looked earlier today. I assume that's going to get fixed. Cam Akers or Everett today? I'll go with Cam Akers and hoping that he sees some passing game usage. Ownership percentage for Evans. Yeah, probably around 30% is what I haven't projected at. Also, I'll throw in my Patreon right now if you want to check it out. If you have any interest in joining for just more tools, there'll be a lot of information out there, projections, rankings, and ownership, not only for the main slate for Week 12, not only for tonight, but also for the Thanksgiving slate, game-by-game notes for the main slate, showdown information, a lot of stuff. Closing Thoughts podcast on Sunday mornings. A lot of stuff. I think this will be the last stream that I do of the week. Thursday's Thanksgiving. Not going to be streaming for that Thursday night game. And then next Sunday I'll be traveling, so I don't believe there's a very slim chance that I would actually stream. Is it Matt Gay revenge game? Yeah, I don't know much about that. I guess, was he on Tampa Bay this year? I don't follow kickers at all, since you don't got to roster them in DFS. And I literally don't even change my kickers unless they're on bye weeks in my season-long stuff. Highest projected optimal captain. Yeah, Chris Godwin. What did I say? I thought that you were going to go live at 6 p.m. on your video posted today. Yeah, I changed my mind, 5:30. Which QB, if any, would you play on Super Draft? I think both are in play. Goff would probably be the one that I like a little bit more. You're just getting a, right now, better multiplier on Goff, I believe. Yeah, Goff's multiplier is 1.15 to Brady's being 1x. Like, when they're projecting out this closely and neither of them are mobile, if you're getting an extra 15% of points on top of your Super Draft, if you want to check out Super Draft above, you can see their logo. Go to superdraft.io. It's linked down below in the description. You can get a free money bonus up to $1,000 if you just use my name upon signing up and making an account. There'll be a little thing that says have a promo code. You click that, bam, use the promo code SAL, S-A-L. Or you can just click the link down below and that'll do it for you. Then you can share it by using the promo code as well. But yeah, you're getting 15% extra on a quarterback that projects out so closely. That's the guy that I want. Anyone taking Bucks at 4.5? Any advice? Yeah, no lean on the games tonight. It's a very close game. I like the Bucks side more, but you're obviously getting points with it. So, like money line, you have Bucks, but I'm not betting a minus. What is it? 200 money line, 180, something like that. Appreciate your work. Keep rolling. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate that. I got both quarterbacks in my Super Draft lineups. Yeah, best of luck. I don't think both quarterbacks is optimal. It's definitely not bad. I don't think it's optimal though. You were playing like one lineup. Is your plan to expand your DFS brand and hire more intelligent personalities to lighten your load? Not really. I mean, ideally, like if somebody came to me and they just wanted to work and I could pay them and I thought that they were good, but there's a very specific skill set that's needed from a on-air personality to it's a lot of stuff, right? You have to produce a show, have the proper equipment so it sounds good, it looks good, the lights, all that stuff. You have to be able to edit. have the actual knowledge. So it's rare. If somebody reached out to me and they had all those things, yeah, I would do it. That's why Dylan makes the prop shows on Friday if you have not checked them out. They release Friday at noon, player prop shows. It's about a 15 to 20 minute show. Dylan reached out. He's from Penn State. Made me open the email a little bit more and read it, actually. But he has a background in this. He went to school for journalism. He knows what he's doing. He has jobs, and he has a whole portfolio of his work, podcasting, articles, his own blog. And he's really good at what he does. And you can see that in the videos on Friday. So, yeah, I think that if more people reached out, I would do it. Like, if somebody reached out, I love MMA. I love the UFC. I love Dana White. I watch every single one of this guy's press conferences. I like the MMA. I follow NBA DFS. And MMA DFS. Obviously, I make content for NBA. But yeah, I would obviously hire more personalities if I thought that they fit the brand well. There's a lot of people that are on YouTube just like pulling up the DraftKings screen and talking through like the DraftKings like game logs and like what does that bring you? You're doing the same thing as everybody else, and with bad equipment and like just bad personality, it's dry. And a lot of people are just starting out, so that's fine. That's how I was 2 years ago if you look at my content. But that's not what I'm going to hire. Yeah, I mean, lighten the load this year. I've gotten my workload for NFL from last year to like 80 to 90 hours a week to 30 to 40 this year. So I have a lot more time on my hands, which is good for growing business, for personal life, and just other things in general, working on other hobbies. So yeah. Hey Sal, do you like Brady or Goff more tonight? I have more Goff, but they're basically coin flips. I have a little bit more Goff, but basically coin flips. How do you talk so fast? I'm an Italian from New York with parents who are Italians from New York. Thanks for answering. Awesome insights. Yeah, no problem. Does Reynolds get red zone targets? Yes, he does. Kupp's going to be your red zone magnet, and you're getting more red zone usage this year for Robert Woods finally in his entire career of hoping so. But yeah. NBA DFS is the shit. Yeah, NBA DFS is so fun and fantastic, especially if you're just a player. If you're somebody like me who creates content and also projections and updates them, I mean, we have a month until the season starts, literally from yesterday, a month. I'm trying to work out some sort of deal or just some sort of way to make these NBA projections not be as strenuous, because otherwise we're going to have to put some limitations in, whether that's no weekend, me not even looking at weekend videos and projections or something, because I can't have like 3 hours of my night every single night hoping that some guy's hamstring doesn't spike up while I'm out and not allowing me to go out. So I have to have something to automatically do that. It's difficult with Patreon this year, but the solution might just be not to do weekend content for the NBA. Facts, you're really right, bro. You're going to be on top with this. Thanks, I appreciate it. Is Ramsey shadowing anyone tonight? Probably Mike Evans. I mean, shadow 60, 70% of the time. Basic Patreon member, do we get Thanksgiving projections, or is that considered showdown? No, you get them. They'll be out probably tomorrow, if not tomorrow, Wednesday. Can you scroll back to the top? Notes, please. Thanks, fella. Yeah, no problem. Don't fade quarterbacks. Yeah, I'm not fading quarterbacks, just in the captain spot. I'm not fading them. I have a lot of them in my flex. A lot, about 75%. Who is the better matchup between Kupp and Woods tonight? Overall, I think I'm going to get more Kupp. I think you're going to see a much better matchup for Kupp. He's going to move into the slot. He's going to avoid Jamal Dean and Carlton Davis, where Tampa Bay is more so you can target them in the slot, if anything. What about Higbee tonight? Yeah, I think I got 5% Higbee, so he's basically a no to a borderline maybe to me. Like, I have some, but I'd prefer Gerald Everett. Similar projections for Mike Evans and Godwin. Doesn't Evans have a higher touchdown upside? The projections, in my opinion, are not similar for those guys. I have Chris Godwin nowhere near Mike Evans in projections. What's up, Sal? You like Fournette captain to fit Suckup and Godwin captain with Cam Akers? I like Godwin captain. Don't even care who the other guy is. I like Godwin captain over Fournette. The ceiling is so much more different. Fournette's ceiling is honestly the way that he's been playing and getting usage, like 16 fantasy points, maybe 20. Godwin's ceiling is like 35. I'm hopping off. I'm predicting I split first place with 127 others. Have a great Thanksgiving with the fam. Thanks for the solid content. Thanks, Jordan. Yeah, have a great night. Best of luck. Are you limiting kickers and defenses tonight? Yes, I am. Thoughts on Scotty Miller? He ran 5 routes last week. He's ran 22 routes since AB's been there. I think he runs 5 routes, and you're lucky if you see a reception. NBA is top tier. Yeah, NBA is fantastic. Sal, do you like Gronk tonight? I actually don't. Now, obviously, in theory, he has 2 touchdown upside, maybe better than anybody else on the slate tonight, Rob Gronkowski. So that's where he stays in play for me. But I only have 7% Gronk. So not really liking Gronk all that much. It's the price point mainly. NBA, so much movement. Great challenge for us in DFS. Looking forward to your content. Yeah, I usually make an NBA video like every morning. I think I'm going to limit it to just Monday through Friday this week and not NBA weekend content. And if I do, it'll just be through the Patreon projections. But I haven't figured that out. We're starting it up in a month. I'll figure it out. We got a month to go. Trying to finalize some things with NBA, talking to some companies about trying to get APIs so the data can automatically upload, and it's just a lot. What's your percentage of Fournette right now? Yeah, he's my highest owned running back. I have a lot of Fournette. I'm going to live or die. I won't live or die on him. If he busts out, it's not going to ruin these lineups. I've got like 50% Fournette. Like $4,400. Last week didn't get as much usage just because Ronald Jones goes off. And there's no value on the slate. So like I'm basically saying that I want to choose Fournette over these kickers more times than not. And that's true. I do want to. NBA is impossible. I don't think so. I think NBA, there's a lot of upside. I don't think people are catching on in MLB. People are catching on pretty quickly because of all the content in NFL. Nobody's catching on as quickly in terms of setting up groups and rules for NBA, in terms of making your lineups as good as you can when you optimize them. Everybody knows stack these quarterbacks, limit these types of things when it comes to, not everybody, but most people, when it comes to using an optimizer for NFL and definitely NHL and League of Legends and MLB. Nobody does it properly. People just put projections in, add some randomness, use some ownership, and then they run their lineups. They're not setting up groups, and simple groups. Like, don't get centers from the same team. Don't get this many power forwards or small forwards or wing players that suck from the same team just because they look like decent value. Like, those lineups are never going to hit. You need guys in NBA scoring like 30-plus a night in DFS, 30-plus DFS points. And when you get like 3 guys scoring 12, it's not going to work for you. Who's your favorite Super Draft play tonight? I think Godwin's my favorite play everywhere. I like Godwin a lot. Do you have any Shady McCoy? No. I don't even know if he steps on the field. No. This is so hard. Who to pick? Yeah. I mean, the wide receivers. I mean, we got yeses and maybes on the screen, so it shouldn't be as hard. In my fantasy league, I need to outscore Gronk, and I have AB and Woods, but can only start one. Who would you start? I would start AB. Oh, AB and Woods? I'd start Woods over AB. What is your projected snap share between the 3 running backs? Who is the third down back? I think you're going to see a split everywhere. I mean, Henderson's been getting a lot of third down usage, but it's been changing up each of the past couple of weeks. Malcolm Brown's been getting it for the most part this season, but Henderson's been getting it here and there. Cam Akers has been involved, so it's just a split. I think that you're going to see somewhere around 28% of the snaps for Cam Akers, and then the other 2 guys are going to split. I'm not giving them the full split. I think there's going to be a couple empty back sets. So the other 2 guys are going to basically split for me like 60 to 65% of the snaps, around 65%. So I right now have it like almost a 30% split each way. That's a great point about NBA style good shit. Yeah, definitely. Team stacking in NBA is the next thing. Potentially, it depends on how high some of the totals are. You don't need a team stack in NBA. The correlation is not there. Every single player in NBA is negatively correlated. When one center on the team scores 40 fantasy points, that's ruining every other power forward on the team to a certain extent, right? Capping their ceilings. If one center like Joel Embiid scores 70 fantasy points, that is significantly capping everybody else that's around the rim. So I don't think you stack in NBA. I really don't. You can try and game stack, but there's no correlation to actually give you a better upside. And there's so much value in NBA in so many games every single night that you don't have to. But in terms of groups, limiting the bad lineups you get, people don't do it. Watched a show before Saints Chargers a few weeks back and took some pointers that eventually helped me win a showdown. Too bad literally thousands of people had the winning lineup. Hey, better to win than not to win. Nice job. Do you not like AB this week, Sal? I think AB's fine for season long, of course. I mean, I haven't projected out for double-digit fantasy points. I just prefer guys who are cheaper than him for similar to more fantasy points than AB. What's up, brother? What's up, Will? How you doing? My guy, what's your optimal tonight? Aaron Rodgers in all those lineups, in every single captain spot, too. What do we got here? I could listen to Sal talk NBA DFS all day. Yeah, NBA is probably my favorite sport to actually watch on TV. Like NFL, I mean, look, if you don't have anything on an NFL game, it's so boring. Like if you don't have DFS lineups or a fantasy season-long team, it's so boring. Like you're just watching half the times the guy's running for like 3 yards, and then it takes a minute to run the next play, and a guy's running for -1 yards into an offensive lineman's butt, right? It's just brutal. NBA is at least nonstop. When it comes to NBA opening night, I find it best to target bigs with double-double potential. Yeah, I mean, you're always just trying to target guys closer to the rim. Small forwards that play power forward, power forwards that play centers, they talk the highest, or they talk the most points overall. I like Al Smizzle's take on NBA. Minutes equals money. To an extent, yeah. I mean, minutes projections are important. But there's guys like Boban Bogdanovic that averages 2.15 fantasy points per minute. And if you can think that Boban plays 15 minutes, he's one of the best plays in the night, more times than not, depending on his price. Same things with Nerlens Noel. If he's going to see 20 to 22 minutes, he's one of the best plays in the night at his $3,000 price tag. So minutes equals money is very good overall, like arching. But there's a lot more that goes into it. And also projecting minutes is not as easy as it seems. You have to keep an eye on close things, like the game before, what happened at halftime, how did the rotation switch in the fourth quarter, the closing lineups, all these things really matter. What's up, Sal? Let's get those dollar rooskies, definitely. How much Reynolds do you have tonight? Less than you probably think, because he's priced up. He's not this $3,000 showdown play anymore. I have overall ownership towards Reynolds is 23% tonight. I believe I'll be below the field on Josh Reynolds. Nothing wrong with him. It's just that he's priced up. Can you do some live NBA sweats? Sweats probably not, but streams, yeah. I'll be doing live NBA streams. Probably not every night, but we'll see. We'll try and develop a schedule. So, do you think Showdown Cash is viable? Definitely not. Here's a tip. Put as many centers as you can in your lineup. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good start. I know you like Leonard Fournette for tonight's Sal, but do you see a touchdown? Yes or no, please? I have no idea. I have no idea. I haven't projected for 10 fantasy points. He's projecting in a partial touchdown, like most plays. You're not going to find a projected touchdown for anybody but a quarterback tonight, and that's basically it, right? So no. The answer for him to have a one whole touchdown, no. But the answer for him to have like 0.38 of a touchdown, yeah. This isn't an NBA show, yeah, but people are asking questions, so I'll answer them. You ask a question about the NFL, you get it answered. You ask a question about NBA, you get it answered. I can't wait until NBA DFS. Again, it's the best sport and way better than the NFL. In real life, I would agree, yeah. Hey, Sal, what LA backs do you see getting the red zone touches? I think Darrell Henderson, like he has all year, he's a top 5 red zone usage back this season. When they're in the red zone, they put Henderson in there. And it makes sense because he's a bigger-bodied power runner. Would you play any of the defenses tonight or both? I'm not playing both in the same lineup. I do have ownership towards the defenses. I have 15 and 21%. So I believe, based on my ownership projections on these defenses, I'll be coming in around the field on the defenses for the most part. Have you ever played college basketball DFS, Sal? I have not. I don't like college basketball in general, so no, I have not. What about Malcolm Brown on the goal line touches? Yeah, I mean, he's getting some goal line touches, right? So is Darrell Henderson. Darrell Henderson gets more red zone touches. Brown does get goal line usage. But I'm not playing for that. I'm not playing to hope that he runs in a 1-yard touchdown, if he's even going to be on the field for that 1-yard touchdown, right? Malcolm Brown will have his 2 touchdown games like once or twice a year. He had one last week. Also, I think one of them was maybe a receiving touchdown. So I'm not going to get there. Also, Malcolm Brown in this season so far has 4 goal line touches. So we're looking at 4 goal line touches this season, which is good. Like a lot of running backs have 1 or 0. So goal line touches, 4 goal line touches this year on his overall 81 carries. So I mean, I'm not banking on goal line touches for him. Golf DFS is actually fun, right? So yep, it's the night for a kicker captain. Not for me, never. Hi, Sal. Any value in Scotty Miller? Thank you. Not for me, no. What's your favorite meal? Depends on the mood I'm in. If I'm looking to just mange out and eat a ton of food, probably some sort of baked ziti with some meatballs, some regatta, all that type of stuff. But I'm never just trying to eat that like on a normal night. I got to be really looking to mange out, special event like Thanksgiving. I don't know. I don't have like one food. Every single morning I eat a loaded omelet. I make the best omelets in the world. Nobody even at a restaurant makes better omelets than me. So probably that. It's not my favorite food, though. I wouldn't categorize as that, but it's the thing I eat the most. Think Kupp over 60 yards tonight. I have Cooper Kupp projected for very close to that. It's not like a 20% difference that I'm going to be betting that over under. No. Why are you against cash games on showdown slates? Can you tell me why you're for them? You don't have an edge, right? You're choosing between a player pool of like 15 actual viable players, maybe 20 viable players. So the guy you're facing has just as much of an edge as you, right? So that's one. Nobody is a sure thing. You can say that kickers are a sure thing for like 5 to 7 fantasy points. Okay, what's that doing for you to give you an edge? It's 5 to 7 fantasy points. There's no ceiling there to give you upside, right? Again, no edge. Quarterbacks, okay, they might be a sure thing for 15 fantasy points more times than not. Again, your opponents are going to know that quarterbacks are good plays. They're normally the highest owned players on any slate. So you don't have an edge. And number 2, even if you think you have an edge and you think you're playing a safe lineup, you're not, because it's a showdown slate. And the second that somebody gets injured, you're done. Or the second that, let's just say the game flow goes south and this game is a 17-7 game tonight, you're done. Like, you're not going to win. There's going to be other people in your 50-50s and a lot of people in your head-to-heads that stink at showdown, but because they just stink in general, they're playing weird lineups that they're not trying to predict a specific game flow that you are. So when your game flow doesn't work out, you lose. Whereas on main slates, when there's actually a lot of games, and even the Thanksgiving slate where there's 3 games, you have a couple different games. You're not all your eggs in one basket for this one game flow in this one game. And showdown and cash games are supposed to be your safe money, right? Your safely allocated money, where only 50% of the field wins. So you don't have to worry too much about losing all your money in a given week, unless you have a terrible week in cash. And I mean, shame on you. Start to reevaluate your process if you're losing all your money in cash games every single week. But those are supposed to be your safe games. That's like if you're investing in bonds or index funds in the stock market. You're supposed to be safe. You're supposed to have a floor there. So if you're playing them in the most variant game mode possible, where you literally have 0 edge unless you're playing a lot of lineups in a 20 max or a 150 max, that's why I don't play single entry or 3 max on these slates. I think there's very little to no edge. Your edge on showdowns comes from playing 150 lineups and being able to correlate more game flows together. You can't do that in cash. So you're basically just, in my opinion, a coin flip. If you think you're better than your opponent, you're probably not in cash long term. And if you could prove to me that you're winning 68% of your cash games over the long term, like the very long term, and it's higher than the 50-cent stakes, then I'll shut up. But I think you're probably not. I think you're at best hitting like 50%. So it's a very long-winded. Early Super Bowl predictions. Aaron Rodgers wins the trophy and turns into a goat mask on the field. They put a goat mask on him on the field. What's your ownership on Goff tonight? 74%. Any picks under $1,600 for you tonight, Sal? Guys under $1,600? Nah, not for me. Nobody under 6. I mean, Van Jefferson and Scotty Miller are like the only guys who will be on the field under that, and they're each going to run like 4 routes. I won $250 in a $5 tournament yesterday. I was so happy. Shout out you. What do you think about the cash games for the Thanksgiving slate? I think they're okay. They're better than a showdown slate. I'm still not going to be playing cash, but I think they're okay. Appreciate your content. Fournette, captain to fill out the rest of the studs. Thanks, says Nick. Yeah, I think his price point's fair enough to where if he scores 16 or 18 fantasy points, he could be a captain. I'm not playing him in the captain spot personally, full disclosure. I'm just playing wide receivers tonight. But I think that if I was to allow Fournette to get in the captain spot, I think I would get a good amount. Any AB tonight, Sal? I have 4 lineups with him. Fast talk, Sal. I like this. Yeah, I talk fast all the time. What you talking about? Shut him down, Sal. My man. I'm a part of your top Patreon, but what's your best Super Draft captain for tonight? Chris Godwin. Shout out you, Tay. Part of the top Patrons. Yeah, get up in on Patreon. If you're not a member of the 620 plus or 630 plus Patrons, check it out. Sal just high-key hyped his omelets. Yeah, it's not even a question. I mean, nobody can do it. Nobody can do what I do with these omelets in terms of how good they are. They're amazing. What do we got here? How many people we got in here? Sal, I'm losing all my money every single week in cash, bro. How do I fix that? Start playing better plays. I mean, I don't really know. I don't play cash too much. I don't like it. I don't get the same rush. I don't think there's anything wrong with cash. It's all about your priorities. Like, I don't need to win. I don't need to turn a $1,000 bankroll into hoping to turn it into like $5,000 by the end of the year in cash, or like a prayer that it gets to $10,000 in cash. It's never going to happen. I don't need to try and get lucky to do that. Like, that $4,000 isn't worth that time to me personally. Like, I look at DFS as a baseline, a hobby, right? But then also an investment. So for me to actually get any type of sweat on it, me playing like $500 to $1,000 in cash to try and double that money, and not even double it, but like 80% that money due to the rake. At best, if I win 100% of them, which is never going to happen, I don't have much interest in that. But there's nothing wrong with it. Do you have turkey at an Italian Thanksgiving? Yeah, we do, for sure. My dad's allergic to turkey and chicken, so but we still have turkey, but he gets something else. Sal's a millionaire. Hopefully by the time I am 28 would be the goal. Talk faster, Sal. Single entry all day. Yeah, single entry is good for the main slates, not for the showdown slates for me personally. What's your lowest cost play tonight? I have Cameron Brate in some of my lineups at 2,200. Everett in 26 in some, Cam Akers and a little bit more at 28. So I'm not going below the 2K range tonight, which is a shame because normally we see them. Who are your favorite pass catchers to pair with Goff? It would be Kupp and Woods in that order. I mean, it's not crazy, but it is. Won $700 on CSGO. CSGO is so fun to watch. It takes a while, but so fun to watch. I got to get into more CSGO. It's just the issues are the timing of it, actually being able to put more time and like follow it closely, which is something I can't do when the NFL is on, when golf's on, although golf's off this week. But CSGO is so fun to watch. Like I used to watch the stuff in college just like for entertainment. Like instead of watching YouTube, I'd watch that like while eating meals and stuff. I like it a lot. It's a very fun game mode. Is Ramsey shadowing something? He'll shadow like 60 to 80% of the time. Mike Evans probably like closer to 60 or 70%. Yeah, it's fine for Evans. Like, it's a showdown slate. So if Evans scores his touchdown and has 15 fantasy points, it's fine. Like, I'm not taking into account the wide receiver cornerback matchups all that much. They're already factored into the projections. And Evans doesn't look like that great of a play, but his ownership is following it. Ronald Jones, right? Not for me. How much Ronald Jones did I even get? That's a good question. I have 7% Ronald Jones tonight, so I'll be well below the field as a lot of people seem to be chasing Ronald Jones' last game. I have Ronald Jones' overall ownership projection tonight at... Brady's ownership is insane tonight. Projected ownership, that is. I currently have Ronald Jones projected for 35% ownership. I'm just nowhere near that. That's a lot for an expensive running back that just had a career-high game, and now people are going to try and hope that he backs that up. He's been good this year. Evaded tackles, all that stuff. He hasn't been bad. He's been good when given opportunities, but... yeah, I'm not going to bank on his 150-yard game, 150-plus yard game. He doesn't have to do that at that price tag, but for it to work out against this run defense with Fournette still lingering back there for maybe 40% of the snaps this week, a lot's going to have to go right, including touchdowns. Who's the most optimal Ram tonight? It's probably Jared Goff. Sal, Superdraft is having issues depositing money. Can you talk to them? What do you mean by depositing money? I haven't had to deposit in... quite some time, but what do you mean by that? I'll also give you, this is the email to Superdraft. I used to point people to Ricky, but Ricky told me in the DMs that too many people are going to Ricky, so send them over to the support. So, I mean, it's just a basic support line. You could name drop me if you want to. Just say, hey, I'm a Sal follower. I came through his link or whatever it was. What's going on with this money deposit? And also, if you reach out to them on Twitter, they're really quick to respond. Probably quicker than emails because I think people man that like Twitter account on their phone. They probably get a notification, or at least they're looking at the Twitter account, posting stuff for it, where they're probably not checking their work email. It's a little hack for any businesses, really, if you want to try and get into them during the off hours of business. What about Scotty Miller? No interest. He's the wide receiver 4 on the team now, and he ran 5 routes last week, 17 the week before that. He's just not being used. Like, Miller's probably going to see 1 to 2 targets at best. I would bet more times than not, if you told me does he see 2 or 0 targets, I'd say 0. When Sal says it's not for me, just go for it. Yeah, sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. Join Patreon today. Are you going to update it after the show? Possibly. What's up, T-Fuse? Welcome to Patreon. Round of applause for T-Fuse 1972. Round of applause. Possibly I'll be updating it during the show. If we get any news at 6:50, that makes me need to update it, right? If there's anybody that's going to be out or anything like that, then yeah, we'll update it if indeed that's the case. How much Tom Brady do you have? I have 70% Brady. I have 1,400 hours on CSGO. Playing it? Wow, I never played it before. How old are you? I am 24 years old. For intermediate players, what entry fee contest do you recommend? So more so than entry fee, it's up to you. It depends on what your bankroll is right now and how much money you're willing to lose in a week, in a year, in a lifetime in this. You have to decide that thing for yourself. I can't. But I would more so focus on smaller field events, single entry and 3 max, but smaller field events. Even if the top prize is only $100, go find a lobby that has only 50 people in it, 100 people in it. My favorite contests are all below 300 people in the field because you can actually win. You telling yourself that you're going to win the Millionaire Maker when there's 200 and 300,000 people playing for it, you're never going to win that. You're never going to win that, right? You're just not. You're going to lose all your money. But Sal, one guy won it. Yeah, one guy wins the Powerball. It doesn't mean you should go buy Powerball tickets, right? So, single entry and 3 max and smaller fields. The smaller the field, the better your chance, literally, statistically, of winning. 1 out of 100, you have a 1% chance. 1 out of 200,000, I don't even know what that number is, but it's well below like a thousandth of a chance of winning the contest. What do you think about acres in the flex? I think it's fine. Yeah, I have some. So sorry I'm late. What's going on? How you doing? Can you create an NBA course? Yeah, if I had the time, I would like to. Like, we have the NFL course. We made a League of Legends course during that time. Yeah, if I had the time, I would like to. The issue is the time. Like, the season starts in a month, and we're knee deep in like 40 hours a week of NFL content. So spending if I have the time to do it, but if I want to do it properly and correct, it's going to take me a couple hours a day for a couple of weeks, and I just don't have that right now. I can't add in like an extra 20 hours a week. So that's the issue. I could probably do it if I really set my mind to it and stayed up late at nights, but it's just not worth it for me right now. Will you be covering the NBA preseason? Is there an NBA preseason? I know the season starts on the 22nd. The answer is no to the preseason. Definitely not. Is there even an NBA preseason? I'll be surprised if they have tracking for that. Thoughts on Justin Hill for Thanksgiving? I'll talk about it in the videos coming out in the next couple of days. I'm now a Patreon, says Powens. Welcome along, Powens. How you doing, my man? Shout out to you joining the Patreon community. How many people in here are patrons? There's a decent chance that there's a couple of other people in here that are patrons. Let me know. I'm curious. Should we be stacking the Bucs defense with Fournette at captain? You don't have to. No, that correlation is highly overrated. Running backs and it's higher and better on showdown slates, but it's highly overrated overall. Thoughts on not pairing a captain wide receiver with the quarterback? Noticing a bunch of winning lineups lately have captain wide receiver, but with the opposing quarterback seems counterintuitive. No, that actually seems correct. You can make arguments either way, right? Stacking a quarterback is never a bad idea. But the opposing wide receiver with the opposing quarterback makes a lot more sense than the other way around on a showdown slate. If you have a wide receiver going for, let's say, 100 yards and a touchdown, let's just say he's got like 25 fantasy points, and with the captain spot 37, if he's doing well, he's going to be outscoring his quarterback, right? So, and the quarterback's normally expensive, so bam, it's harder to get that quarterback in. And odds are the quarterback from the other team is having to play catch up more times than the guy who has a wide receiver going off. Because if he has a wide receiver going off, they're probably winning the game. So more times than not, the opposing quarterback is going to have to fire back and try and score a little bit more. Do you mentor in DFS? I'm not too sure what that means, but no. Like one-on-one training, nothing like that. I've seen people do it like here and there. I think a lot of it's scammy and fraudy. I'm sure it's not all that way, but it's not scalable. Like if 100 people sign up to have an hour conversation with me, how am I doing that, right? How am I doing that over a month? How am I doing that over a week? So it's not scalable. Your direct time needing to be into something like meetings and things like that is not scalable. If something's not scalable, it's probably not a good use of your time, which is why meetings are the worst use of any person in a 9-to-5's corporate job, unless you're using people with telecommunications across the world and have to get caught up, but usually the worst thing possible. I'm a Patreon, says Flex. Hey, we got some Patrons up in here. King Key, Patreon in El Paso, Texas. Nice, shout out Texas. Says Kenneth, Patreon. Bunch of patrons in here right now. Patreon member says Kevin. Shout out all the Patreon members in here. Suck upper Acres. I have the kickers looking a lot better tonight. I have double the kickers than Acres tonight. That being said, I do have above the field on Acres. Your boy been a patron this year, but been with you since last year, says Sean. What's up, everybody? How you doing? Shout out all the patrons. Everett or Akers tonight? I have them literally for the exact same amount of fantasy points. I think Everett has a higher touchdown upside. Would you go with a TLK type of lineup tonight? I don't know what TLK is. Something kickers. I don't know what that is. Worth dipping your toe into the running back mess in LA or just staying away for the most part? Staying away for the most part. I am dipping my toe into Cam Akers because there's not a lot of value and he possesses some. I have 2 total lineups with Darrell Henderson. I have no lineups tonight with Malcolm Brown, and I have 20 lineups, 13% with Cam Akers. Brady or Goff in the captain spot? I'm personally not getting to either. If you forced me to pick one tonight, I really don't want either. Like my answer is none. I'm personally playing 0 in the captain spot, so like my actual answer is none. But he left the super chat, so I'm trying to answer this for you. Brady's going to be twice his own in the captain spot. He's more expensive, and he has an equal amount of a chance to me of not getting to 25 points as Goff. So if you're choosing one, I go Goff in the captain spot. I think Goff's ability to screw this up under pressure is a lot higher than Brady's, but I think both of their median outcomes are very similar, and both of their ceilings are similar enough. Goff has a lower floor, but when you factor in that ownership being double on Brady, probably in the captain spot tonight, we'll go with Goff in the captain spot if you had to choose. But my actual answer is I have no captain quarterbacks tonight. My man Mark is a patron for sure. That is a hot take. Meetings are the most important parts of the day. Not at all. Not at all. Meetings are, by all accounts, a waste of time in my opinion. You can tell me that there's a leadership aspect to it, but that's 1% of the 99% or the 100% of meetings out there. Best way to correlate a kicker. There's very low correlation on kickers. Like a lot of the times it's opposing team's quarterback instead of their own quarterback, because that makes sense, right? If you're paired up with your own quarterback and he's throwing touchdowns, you're only getting extra points, not field goals, right? So more so the other team's quarterback if you're playing a kicker. We get a $5 donation that says, keep it up and no question asked. I appreciate that. If you have any questions, let me know and I'll answer them. What's your take on head-to-heads? Head-to-heads, I don't play head-to-heads. I don't play cash in general anymore, really. Sometimes if there's a specific week, I will. I've done it like once in golf, which was a terrible idea just for the hell of it. Ended up working. And then I've done it 2 times this year in NFL. And one week I had Paris Campbell in my cash lineup. He gets hurt. Another week I think I had Dak or something when he got hurt. Whatever it was, I was just like, I'm done doing this. And then you just lose all your cash lineups that week for the most part. And with no upside, and it's that easy to lose, bottom out on everything. Hey, Sal, I'm a Hall of Fame member. Love the concise content and thoughts. Can you talk about the contest choices that were most successful to you while you grew your bankroll? Yeah, good question. It's single entry and 3 max for me. It's single entry and 3 max in smaller fields. So even if you're just starting out with like $100, you're not going to turn that 100 into 10,000 or 1,000 or 500 in cash. You're just not, right? Maybe 500 if you're having a great year. And if that's worth your time and that's where your hobbies are, then that's fine. But if you're trying to like grow a bankroll, it's single entry and 3 max so that you're actually on a level playing field, not the Millie Maker, worst contest you could possibly ever play, unless you're just hoping for the idea and the theory of winning $1 million and not actually the chance, but just that thought is better than actually winning anything. Then play that. It's all you. It's all your preferences. But to grow at smaller field events, smaller field contests, even taking out things like all the lower stakes, right? When you're starting out, that's going to be your easiest competition. 50 cent, max out that. 20 max, 50 cent contest for like $5. Try and win that for like a couple hundred, right? That type of stuff. Max out every $1 and $2 and $3 contests out there. $5 and below, or I believe $3 and below. There's no pros in them. They're banned if you have over $1 million exchange on the site. So max out all that, but smaller field events. What is the best contest for Sunday slates, like single entry, and what is the best field set? So yeah, there's your answer. Just answered. How'd you do yesterday, brother? I couldn't take that Watson train with you, and it burned me pretty good. Yeah, 50% profit yesterday on a couple $1,000s in, so pretty good. A couple $1,000s back, 50% profit. The Watson thing wasn't even the thing that got me there. It was Herbert stacks. So I had Watson, Rodgers, and Herbert as my 3 highest owned quarterbacks. Watson by far the most, like 50% we were pushing. Watson was great. And his stacks were like decent, right? He spread the ball around. 4 wide receivers had 10 or more fantasy points for Watson, so that's never going to be great, right? When Cooks and Fuller are basically getting you like 12 or 13 points as your highest wide receivers. So he spread the ball around a ton. 3 tight ends had receptions in that game. Multiple tight ends had multiple targets, but it was Herbert. It was the Herbert to Hunter Henry to Mike Williams to Keenan Allen. All those guys got in the end zone. All those guys had, especially Keenan Allen, huge yardage days. So that was the stack. And the run backs were fine. Like Denzel Mims had over 10 fantasy points. He got you there at 3.3K. So he's my main run back. And Perriman, who had the touchdown. So yeah, that was the stack that got me there. Zeke and Dalvin Cook in some of those lines. So yeah, those were the types of lines that got me there in single entry and 3 max. What do we got? How long we been live? We're live for 58 minutes. I'm going to be live for a couple more minutes, and then we're going to bounce. We're going to end this thing at 6:30. So if you're not already, hit the like and subscribe. I appreciate that in advance. A ton. We started this one a half hour earlier, so I understand that not as many people can get in here, maybe leaving work to start the week, Thanksgiving week. So I have already in advance, if I don't say it a couple times on other shows, a great Thanksgiving. But yeah, we started this a half hour earlier, so I wasn't expecting same type of turnout. But we got a pretty good turnout on this one. Tops like 1,300 people. So thank you to all of you in advance. But yeah, I had to move it up a half hour just due to some things I'm going to be doing later on today. Only in fantasy do we care about who is kicking the ball. Yeah, we shouldn't, though. Only on showdown slates do we, but we shouldn't. Purple background needs to improve. I don't know what that means. The purple background for the font or the purple background with the stuff moving behind me. I don't know which one you mean. I mean, I could blow up the background. The problem then is you're not going to see the whole entire sentence. It's like, I mean, I could do this, but you're not going to see anything. So what's the point, right? But yeah, I mean, if you're an engineer who has an improvement, let me know. Let me know, and we could get that. We can get that situated. Sal, listen to us. Your background sucks. I can't see anything, says Brian. The same guy's got so many issues. I mean, what are you looking on? I mean, these are your options. I could either have it how it is right now, or I can do this. I can move it up that much, and you're not going to see anything anyways. So what's the point? If you have a Patreon, you can download all this. I think anything that anybody cares about anyways is the yes nos. If you want the actual stuff, then go watch the video from this morning, and that's going to be a little bit more blown up. But I mean, unless you know a way to make me blow this up and for not to cut off the screen, because I don't. All right, let's make this a little bit lower. First time watching so far, loving what I'm seeing. Who do you see as players getting touchdowns tonight? Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, the quarterbacks. Other than that, I have nobody projected out for one total touchdown. Higher touchdowns overall in terms of like a over like a 0.5 or somewhere around there. Half a touchdown projection or so. I mean, you're looking at Godwin, you're looking at Evans, you're looking at Kupp, Gronk. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Check your Instagram. I sent you a lineup for Super Draft. Yeah, honestly, I'm probably not going to read that. I get a lot of. That's why I close my Twitter DMs, because everybody's just asking me this guy or this guy. What do you think of this lineup? I honestly don't care, right? Like, if it's like a close friend of mine, yeah, I'll answer it. But if 100 strangers in 3 or 4 days are sending me their DraftKings lineups and asking me questions, I can't spend 4 hours of my week answering one-on-one your questions. If you're a patron, that's what the Patreon Discord's for. But that's why I close my Twitter DM. So normally if I see any of those requests on Instagram, if it's not business related or like somebody like sharing like a big win that they won, then I'll say like, nice job. If it's just like, what do you think of the showdown lineup? My answer is either, I mean, I'm just going to say no to it, but my answer would actually just be looks good. And like, I won't even look at it. It'll just be looks good. Like if I ever actually answer it, I don't know how you can actually expect just anybody who has their DMs open with a decent following to spend like 5 hours a week to like look at specific lineups. It's just not optimal. Sal, the text needs to be larger. Yeah, I don't know what you want me to do about that, though, right? I mean, here, if I make the text larger, you're not going to see anything. So, I mean, trust me, I've looked at this more than the people watching it. Like, if the text's larger, you're not going to see anything, right? You can see those words, but what does the rest of the words say, right? Like, I don't get the point. So, you go to pre-entertainment, hopefully winning big tonight. Nice. Join us on Patreon, says Cody. Yeah, definitely. Sorry I'm late. Top captains. Yeah, I like Chris Godwin. I like all the wide receivers. How do you join the Discord? It's a part of the Priority or Hall of Fame Patreon membership. So, you can check it out. You don't think Antonio Brown will do anything? I got him projected for double-digit fantasy points. I think he'll do decent. I think he'll do fine. If he has another touchdown in this game or has another deep catch, he might be in the optimal lineup. Antonio Brown scoring 12 fantasy points tonight isn't going to be in the optimal lineup. So do I think that he can catch 6 passes for 60 yards? Yeah, I think that's a good game for Antonio Brown. But that's not going to win you a slate. He's not going to be in the winning lineup. He's expensive. If he catches 8 for 80, then he might be in the winning lineup. But that's a huge game. So I don't think he's going to do that good based on my projections. What other DFS hosts do you listen to? I like Lofty a lot. I mean, I do shows with Lofty. Tomorrow we're doing the Thanksgiving show on Awesemo. But, I mean, Pat Mayo's a GOAT. He's fantastic. Rick Gaiman for golf content is fantastic. I try and communicate with those guys pretty often in terms of help. Nick BDGE, maybe we'll be seeing him next weekend in New York City. He does great work for season-long fantasy. I don't really listen to much other content. Like, I'll listen to John Daigle, some of his the Roto World like wrap-up podcast after I watch film and stuff to see if there's anything I missed or an injury or something I missed, just like in passing on Monday mornings. Not much after that. I like Mayo's shows, like the betting shows, more so entertainment, but also like good content, right? Informative for sure. Yeah. Nothing like religiously though. Like I won't listen to every single show. I'll just try and catch them here and there. A lot of the times I'm listening to audiobooks for the most part. Nobody knows anything. We're just guessing, including Sal. That's 100% right. Like when I put these interests on the board, I close my eyes and I just literally type buttons. We're lucky we got as many Y's, X's, and N's that we did. Sal, you cracked me up. Thank you. Screenshot and blow it up. Give dude a break. Yo, free content. Hey, Sal, when NFL ends, are you just going to be doing NBA? NBA and golf. Yeah. NBA and golf. Unfortunately, the XFL is not going to be here this year, but it will be here next year. But yeah, NBA and golf, and then I'll start to be doing some YouTube videos for off-season stuff and working on next year's draft guide and working on improvements to a website that I'm working on. Potentially MMA. I like the MMA. I watch a lot of the fights. If I don't watch them live, then I make sure to watch them like the next day on Fight Pass stuff. I'm a big MMA fan. One of my roommates at college got me into it a little bit more. He was into it. He stuff like that. Do you play UFC? Yeah, I like the UFC a lot. I think it's a fucking brutal and insane sport, and those people are crazy. But yeah, it's pretty. It's like the gladiators, right? The Coliseum. I mean, people are showing up to watch it for a reason. There's something weird about it. I can see perfect. Somebody says nice. Alrighty, gang. 3 more minutes and I'm going to bounce. So get your questions in. You want to leave a super chat? You can. Join us on Patreon later. Thanks, Sal. See you, Cody. Have a good day. I can see perfect. Nice. Bring back MLB. Yeah, it's not for me. Maybe I'll do MLB, but the NBA season is going to end in July. Preseason starts, July this year with the different schedule. Preseason and NFL is going to start in August. There's going to be like a 2-week break. I'm not going to just do MLB during that time. I'll just cover golf for those 2 weeks. Preseason NFL then comes. MLB is just, I mean, I like playing it. I like the correlation side of it and the upside. I don't know. It just doesn't move the needle for me. Funny that you mentioned Rick Gaiman. I discovered both of you a day apart. I love both of your contents. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. I actually was just messaging Rick yesterday. I think Rick's a pretty informative guy. I think his content's great, right? On the CBS channel now, the streaming site that they have, CBS HQ, I think it is. He's fantastic. He's great at everything he does. You know, man, Sal, Patreon member here. What's up, Alec? How you doing? Shout out to you. Matt gave the starter for the Rams. Perfect. We don't need to change anything. Texas Streets donates $5 to the stream just for the fun of it. I appreciate that. If you got a question, let me know. Thanks, Al. Let's get them $Rooskies tonight. Let's do it. Let's get them. Feeling a little bit rapid right now. We need MLB videos, bro. Yeah, not for me. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. I did it for the 1 year, but it doesn't make sense for me to do it right now. I don't like covering multiple sports every single day at once. Like covering the NBA and MLB at the exact same time would be the death of me. And then covering the NFL and the MLB at the exact same time, you would see me pretty quickly become tired of the MLB. Sal, do you play showdown slates on Jock Market? I mean, truthfully and honestly, no. I think I played 1 or 2 on Jock Market, the showdown slates. That's probably because I just can't remember to play all these different sites. Like I play SuperDraft and I play DraftKings. So truthfully and honestly, no, I don't play the showdown slates. I play the main slates. But now that you remind me of this, I am going to open up the market and dump all of my money into one Chris Godwin. So thank you. We're joining right now. So Chris Godwin, I know he's going to be expensive anyways. He's only $3 right now, but obviously the market is still open for another hour and a half. So let's just go in here and just buy Chris Godwin. Let's just buy the hell out of Chris Godwin stock right now. Let's get ourselves $70 worth of Chris Godwin tonight. Bam. Somebody's going to probably outduel me, but we'll see. Basically, no views in MLB. Yeah, I mean, MLB doesn't get as many views, but it's not about the views because I can spin it another way. MLB doesn't have as many people making content about it. So if it gets a 3,000 view video, those 3,000 views are probably just watching your video and maybe one other person's instead of my NFL content where people are watching like 5 other people. So if you're talking about like competition for advertising dollars, conversation for conversion to advertisements, people to join Patreon, like from a business standpoint, when we look at these month reviews and see how the content did, like day to day, I think about that stuff in the back of my head, but not like actively. At the end of the month, I do my business recaps and see how I can change some wordings on stuff, see how I can change some stuff on the screens, look into new advertisers. MLB, you're going to have less competition. So if you have less, like WNBA, the first year that I did DFS was actually my highest Patreon thing before NFL. Like between NBA, MLB, and WNBA was my highest Patreon, like active members, because I was like the only one doing WNBA, or like there's one other guy and the content sucked probably, right? So I'm late. Most on captain, Chris Godwin, my man. Chris Godwin. So you're the GOAT as always. Carlton, too kind. Carlton said I didn't have any big energy earlier. I don't know. I guess I'm just chilling out, relaxing, maxing all cool. I just watch it sometimes because I love, somebody said I love you. Crazy. What do we got here? Which LA kicker is playing tonight? I believe Mac A, somebody said, is official, which is who we have projected on Patreon right now. Are you playing any Van Jefferson? I am not. Evan says, let's get the 300 likes. Yeah, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe while you at it too. I appreciate that. I have 4 videos for the next 2 days for Thanksgiving coming out. And maybe I'll go live on YouTube on Thursday morning from my house with my grandma. Maybe, probably not. Corey donates $5. He says, thanks for the video. I appreciate that. Somebody told me to follow Sal Vetri. Thank you. Yeah, tell more people. Tell your brother, your mother, your aunt, your uncle, your sister, your cousin. Tell them all. Somebody says Sal's brother for the baseball content. I wish. I don't got a brother, though, but I wish. I don't got a brother who makes content. I do have an actual brother, and he does have a YouTube channel on cards, so you can check that out, Stephen Vetri. Somebody says old Sal in the chat. What's that mean? Translation, MLB is dying. Less views, but I get it. Yeah, I mean, It depends on what you're talking about, but the MLB is a terrible managed and marketed sport, just like the WNBA. The WNBA, when I say terrible, do not get that twisted with me saying I don't like the sport. I love the WNBA. I think it's fun to watch. If you don't like it and you make jokes that to your friends that, oh, we don't like it because it's women playing, I mean, that's just sexist straight out, right? That's discrimination. It's a good sport. It's fun to watch, especially if you have a sweat on it, like any other sport. Their marketing of the league is terrible, though. I'll sell you some Godwin shares of $17. Why? He's at $3 right now. No way. Appreciate the content. Best info. Thank you. I appreciate that. Too kind. All right, everybody. I think we're good to go. Will you be going live Wednesday night? Probably not. Wednesday night, I'm going to be hanging out with my buddies that I haven't seen for like over a year due to COVID. Some of them I have seen. Most of them I haven't. Or I've seen them for like 2 hours last time I was home. So, Wednesday night, I'm going to be hanging out with my buddies when I go home. So Wednesday, I'm going to be getting home probably in the evening, and I'm going to have like a 2 hour difference of hanging out with my family. I'm not going to be streaming during that time. Ideally, if I had more time in the day, I would. So maybe Thursday morning at like 9 a.m. we'll stream for an hour, but I feel like 7 people will watch that, so I probably won't waste my time. Go on a morning run with my mom or something. P.S. I prefer to your take on golf after watching the U.S. Open content. Rick was fading him hard, as well as the cronies. You were the only guy that I was watching saying you liked Bryson. What are you talking about? I prefer your take on golf after watching the U.S. Open. Oh, the U.S. Open. I thought you were talking about the Masters. I was like, Bryson was terrible. Yeah, the U.S. Open, yeah, I like Bryson. I mean, I faded Dustin Johnson at the Masters 100%, so there's that as well. Hey, Sal, Patreon member here. Who has a tougher matchup, Woods or Reynolds tonight? I think you're going to see Reynolds with a tougher matchup. Both will be tough. They'll both see Davis on the outside as well, and Jamal Dean. So both will be tough, but it's going to be more so tougher for Reynolds' matchup. See you on Awesome tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be on Awesome at 11 a.m. Staten Island for the rule of law. Yeah, I was born and raised in Staten Island, New York for about the first 12 years of my life. You related to Tony Meatballs? Yeah. What is Jock Market? It is a daily fantasy sports site. If you use the promo code SAL10 when you download the app, they'll give you a free $10 bonus. It's a stock market. You can buy stocks and players for fantasy sports. It's a ton of fun. They have a contest tonight, so check it out. All right, everybody, I think I'm going to bounce. I got some plans, so peace out, everybody. I appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you to the 1,000+ of you that watched tonight on the live stream concurrently, and the couple thousand that are going to watch in total. Please do hit the like and subscribe before you go, and check out Patreon. Join the community. Why not? If you like any content, if the content wins you $1,000 Rooskies or something, and you want to just support the channel and support the Patreon and the community over there, get access to the Discord, all that type of stuff, but that's just the beginning of it. That's a sneaky perk, but that's just the beginning of it. A bunch of other stuff, projections, rankings, ownership, podcast, game-by-game notes. Check it all out. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Peace out, gang, and I will see you all in the next one. Thanksgiving content, 2 videos tomorrow, 2 on Wednesday, a Showdown Slate video on Thursday, and then we're back to the normal grind for Week 12 on Friday and Saturday. No live stream on Sunday morning this week due to travel. No live stream on Thursday night, so my next live stream will be next Monday slate. So best of luck, everybody, and I'll see you all in the next one.